Belarus elects on national level a head of state, the president, and a legislature. The president is elected for a 5-year term by the people. The National Assembly has 64 members, 56 members indirectly elected and 8 members appointed by the president. Belarus is a state in which the president, currently Alexander Lukashenko, dominates. Opposition parties are allowed, but are widely considered to have no real chance of gaining power. A report by the Electoral Integrity Project, reviewing worldwide elections for 2015 and released in February 2016, evaluated Belarus as a state failing to meet international standards of electoral integrity. In 1994, the first ever elections for the office of President of Belarus took place. Before the adoption of the state constitution, Belarus had a prime minister, and had ever since breaking away from the Soviet Union. At the time, Vyacheslav Kievich was the prime minister. At the end of the first balloting in June 1994, Kievich was slated to face the other candidate, Alexander Lukashenko. Presidential elections, first round. Presidential elections, second round. On the 11th of April 1995, Parliament rejected 3 of the 4 issues to be put to national referendum on the same day as general elections, and President of the Republic Alexander Lukashenko, in office since July 1994 and a firm advocate of the issues, threatened its dissolution. The proposed referenda concerned closer ties with the Russian Federation and the president's power to dissolve the legislature. Due especially to the multitude of candidates and the high thresholds required for election, only 18 deputies were outright victors in the first round of voting and only 101 more in the second. On the 28th of May, the resulting total of 119 fell short of the 2/3 legal quorum which would have allowed the new legislature to sit. Polling for the remaining 141 seats accordingly took place on the 29th of November. When 865 candidates were in the running, only 20 deputies were then returned. On the 10th of December, runoffs between the 2 leading candidates were held in the other 121 constituencies. 59 more seats were then filled so that, with an overall total of 198 deputies definitely chosen, the quorum was finally reached. Due to shortages in the applicable electoral majorities, 62 seats still remained vacant. The 14th of May 1995 Belarus referendum required the population of Belarus to vote on 4 issues. The date of the referendum coincided with the date of the elections to the parliament. On the 11th of April 1995, the parliament considered the questions for the referendum, approved the date, but approved only the question regarding economic integration with Russia. Alexander Lukashenko declared that he would not change his decision and left the parliament. 19 members of the parliament from the Belarusian Popular Front decided to carry out a hunger strike within the parliament building, protesting against the president organizing the referendum despite the parliament's decision. They were beaten and forcibly removed by OMON. The parliamentarians sued the special forces for battery but weren't successful. A conciliatory commission was called upon to resolve the conflict of President vs. Parliament about the referendum, which was eventually decided in the president's favor. The voter turnout was 4,823,482 citizens or 64.8% of the total electorate. All 4 proposals were announced as passed. Of 3 questions, the one relating to national symbols turned out to be the most controversial. According to many opposition experts, the 1995 referendum was illegal and thus its results have no legal power. OSCE Parliamentary Assembly stated that the referendum in Belarus has violated international standards of elections. The organization noted governmental control over the media, the government's interference into the voting process, obstacles to the opposition's activities etc. U.S. Department of State also criticized the Belarusian government for this referendum. The Russian State Duma issued a statement supporting the official results of the referendum that promoted the status of Russian language in Belarus. The 24th of November 1996 Belarusian referendum required the population of Belarus to vote on 4 Issues suggested by President Lukashenko and 3 suggested by the Supreme Council of Belarus. 6,181,463 citizens took part in the referendum, or 84.14% of the total electorate of 7,346,397. The Belarusian Democratic Opposition, human rights organizations and several foreign observers have recorded numerous violations of the legislation regarding organization of the referendum, both during the voting itself and during the campaign before it. The referendum was accompanied by a constitutional crisis, a conflict between President Alexander Lukashenko and the oppositional parliament. There have been mass street protests by the opposition protesting against the referendum and against human rights violations. The opposition also spoke of rigging of the ref.